So if you've ever considered becoming a business coach, if you are already an existing business coach, or indeed if you're a business owner right now, anywhere around the world, you'll be potentially wanting to hear from the global master, Brad Sugars himself. It's my pleasure this evening, my humbling pleasure, to bring you a fantastic live interview, live on air, with amazing Brad Sugars, the president, founder, and owner of the one and only Action Coach. Good evening, Brad, and welcome very much indeed to the Diamond Experience. Thank you for coming on board and online and taking the time to spend an hour with us this evening.
Well, Mr. Chapman, it's always good to be with you. From back in the days when I think we did an interview in Raw magazine, it must have been 5-6 years ago, and it's good to be in touch again, buddy. Good to be in touch.
Absolutely. Thanks very much indeed, Brad. Thank you so much for taking the time. Brian Sherman, thank you very much indeed for joining. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be broadcasting for approximately 60 minutes this evening. Brad's a very busy man, as you know. Zef Zan, hello from the USA. Thanks for joining. Brian Sherman, thanks for joining as well. Now, we're going to be posing 10 questions, asking Brad to answer about 10 questions this evening about his life, about Action Coach as a business, about his thoughts on the coaching world, the market, and indeed how he's built his business to the level he's built it right now. Now, Brad's is actually, an international superstar. There's absolutely no doubt about it. Australian by birth, but currently residing and living in Las Vegas, where Action Coach has their head office. Now, just to give a brief synopsis of Brad Sugars, I'm sure you don't need to do that. I've been posting like absolutely mad for the last day or two. But Brad Sugars is recognized as the world's leading wealth and business coach. And he leads the world's #1 business coaching firm. Now, with more than 1,000 coaches in 71 countries, Action Coach is truly a global leader. Now, for us, every single day we go out, we look to grow our businesses. I'm doing exactly the same thing. If you're online right now, you may have a business, you may be growing a business. We're always looking to find the answers to help us move our business forward. And Action Coach does exactly that. They help their clients move their business forward in terms of strategy, in terms of growth, in terms of planning. And Brad's now actually, he speaks around the world on stage, delivering some really, really powerful programs. And his programs are recognized globally. Now, we're not going to waste too much time on introduction chats because I want to be able to pass over to Brad, ask questions, and Brad to answer back. So if you're joining us this evening, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much indeed. I will try to keep up with the comments. Peter Pulka, thank you very much indeed for joining us. Peter Bulka is one of Action Coach coaches from the UK in Chelmsford, Essex. I understand at the moment he's actually in Las Vegas. Now, Jake Tanner Coombs, thank you very much indeed for joining the show. Welcome, Jake. Now, do bear in mind, Jake saying good evening, Bradley Chapman and Brad Sugars. Peter Bulka is saying, hi, Brad and Brad. So, guys, please do make sure you post your comments and your questions. Marissa Salvatore, thank you very much indeed for joining. Do post your questions because once we start this interview, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be asking Brad questions. We've only got him for 60 minutes. Now, at the end of this broadcast, if we have time, we may choose from some of your questions that you're posting within this thread. Now, first and foremost, do like, share, and comment the broadcast. Let's bring as many people into this broadcast as we can. I am not going to get another opportunity to bring you such a global power sensation in the business coaching world. Zeph, thank you very much indeed for coming. Brian Sherman, good evening and bless you. Thank you for jumping online. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to jump straight into our first question. Please like, share, and comment. You'll get a free copy of my book. But hey, ladies and gentlemen, we're online with a gentleman that's actually got 16 best-selling books. And he's highly acclaimed business books, including international bestsellers. And Brad has taught over 1 million people worldwide how to create business, real estate, and financial success. Absolutely amazing. So, Brad, thank you for coming on the show. Karen Whitelaw-Smith has also joined as well. So, ladies and gents, let's jump into these questions. But I'd kindly ask you, share. Let's get as many people into the broadcast as we can. We're with Brad Sugars. Action Coach is the world's #1 coaching firm. And this is the international interview for the Diamond Show. Humbled that Bradley has allowed us to have 60 minutes of time. And we are interviewing with questions live on air on Facebook, ladies and gentlemen. And we are broadcasting to the world. So, Karen, thank you. She's saying delighted to be here. So I'm going to close off the comments for 1 second, but keep them coming. Think about a question you might want to ask Bradley. think about a question that might be pertinent, because, I'm going to potentially ask Brad to choose which question he wants to answer. Now, let's jump straight into the first question, ladies and gentlemen. And thank you for joining us wherever you are around the world. In the comments box, also say who you are, where you're from, and what part of the world that you're in. So, Brad, listen, first question. Do you think you'll ever retire, or, are you still in love and passionate about coaching?
Gee, that's an interesting question. Never say never. We have 4 kids, so a lot of my life is spent actually with them. These days I work a lot less than I used to, but I'm still busy. Running ActionCoach. Well, my team really run the company. I'm the figurehead. I'm the guy that gets to go on stage a few times a year and do all that. But most of my life these days is buying other companies and our investment portfolio, managing that stuff. And I get to coach my coaches around the world as well, which I really enjoy doing that part of it. So, look, I've tried retirement. What's it now? 3 times I've tried to retire, and each time I get bored. So, having the kids is great. It keeps me amused for a little while, but then I go back to doing things. The first time I tried to retire, I was 26, got bored in a few weeks. So went back to doing more investing than just running the companies. Second time I was 30 when my first daughter, Kobe, was born. And third time more recent when the twins were born. So tried retirement, enjoy working, but enjoy having 3 to 6 months of vacation each year as well.
Absolutely beautiful. And it's really fantastic to see that someone that's worked so hard to achieve really fantastic global status and success, that you are taking time with your family. I love that about you. I follow you, and I followed you for years actually, since the original Raw Business interview, and I must say you've got a beautiful family, and they say that if you work hard, the rewards are there. So for anyone that's listening right now, I'm sure one of the things is working hard to get your results. But equally, the second question is that you travel the world, and you enjoy your success greatly. I'm always trying to keep my eye and see what you're doing. I love to hear your voice, especially the Australian accent as well, because I've got an affinity with Australia. For some reason, so many people trying to connect with me from Australia, still trying to work that one out, unless there's someone with the same name in Oz, right? But look, you travel the world, you enjoy your success, but I guess what I'd like to really ask is, what do you enjoy about meeting new people? Because you meet so many people in your seminars, your conferences, when you're on stage, your coaches, you're meeting thousands and thousands and thousands of people. What do you enjoy about meeting new people?
Well, I'll say 3 things. Number 1, I enjoy new questions, because often when you meet new people, you get a question which is something you haven't contemplated before. And as a teacher, or as a coach, as an educator, one of the things I love is the quality of questions that I get as I travel. So, as you hit different parts of the world, and, we just opened in Belgium, and we just opened just before that in Israel, and I was over coaching in Japan, and, and the questions you get are so vastly different, and it's such a great thing. I think the second thing I enjoy about meeting new people is meeting them for the second time. And the reason I say that is because what I find is those who've applied, when I teach things and then they apply it, to me, that's what makes it, I guess it's one of the reasons that I keep coaching and keep doing what I do, because, it's easy to give up teaching. When you hit a certain level of success and a certain level of wealth, it's easy to stop wanting to teach. I mean, I give kudos to guys like Richard Branson, who still teaches today. And, to people who've achieved great success, there is, in my opinion, there's a level of responsibility to educate the next group, to pass on what you learned. And I guess the third thing about meeting new people is just being in new places. Buddy, as you said, I travel a lot, and I get to do it with my family most of the time. And, I guess seeing the world through my kids' eyes, through my wife's eyes, because we get to go places that I've been a dozen times, and for them it's their first trip there. It's sort of, to me, that's pretty exciting as well. But ultimately, I think there's so many different types of businesses out there that you can see and help grow. So I keep looking for new inspiring businesses too.
So, it's lovely for you to, thanks. That's beautiful insight into, the way that you feel about traveling and meeting people. And I guess, being able to take your family, you worked really hard, you traveled the world. So, when your children, your wife, etc., and you land somewhere, and you arrive somewhere that you perhaps been before, but they haven't, obviously you must be able to feel the excitement, through you reliving your first visit through your children's and your wife's eyes again, aren't you? I mean, it's like a second wave of excitement because.
I think the key to life, though, buddy, is seeing everything as if it's the first time you've seen it. If you live on the beach and you wake up every morning and you don't go, wow, look at that, then why live on the beach? I live here in Las Vegas, and from my home, we have this most amazing view of the Las Vegas Valley and the Strip and the lights and everything. And every time I see it every night, I just think, dang, how lucky am I? I live in Las Vegas, for goodness sake. I'm a kid that grew up in Brisbane, Australia, which I love my hometown, but it's not really, it's probably one of the more boring cities in the world. But, it's still my hometown, but I get to live here and I see it every day. So, yeah, no matter where you go, it's very important to feel like it's the first time ever.
That's absolutely beautiful, an answer. And again, just by you saying that, it's making me realize that, every day along the way, remember to smell the roses, because life is beautiful, and it's an amazing thing. So that's a really beautiful answer, and I appreciate that. Please do, ladies and gentlemen, keep the comments. Alison, I can't get the link to work. No doubt Facebook is messing up with the broadcast. Quite possibly, Al. But we are live, we are on air, and there's people within the lobby. But Al, just keep trying, and I'm sure you'll be able to get into the link. So listen, the next question we're going to ask Brad, and don't forget, after we've asked Brad's our questions, if you've got a couple of questions, you've got a question, we'll pick a couple if Brad has got time to share with you. But I want to now move into the commercial side of Brad Sugars, into the business side of Brad and your business. And I guess one of the big questions, and I guess a lot of people are thinking this right now, because, if you're watching this broadcast, you're watching either because you've got a business and you're considering taking a business coach, in which case you may now, after this, start searching on ActionCoach.com to see where your local coach is. Now, you may also be an existing business coach already, and maybe you're not achieving a certain level of success within the coaching environment. And you may be thinking, well, actually, I think it'll become a great coach, but I'm considering, taking on a franchise, one that's been around for many, many years, they're successful, operating in many, many countries. And I followed Action Coach for a long while. And I also know coaches that work for Action Coach very, very successfully under a franchise. So I guess the next question I'd love to ask you, Faye Ventures. Hey, good evening to you, Faye Ventures. Thanks for joining. Faye Ventures, Busy Mums. Thank you so much. Karen Whitelaw-Smith, thank you for joining, author of The Butterfly Experience. Thank you so much. I guess the next question is, who is your number one action coach in the world and why? Now, before you answer that, of course, I'm always taking a sneaky peek on the Action Coach Hall of Fame. And ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know what I'm talking about, go to Action Coach and find the Action Coach Hall of Fame. And every year, the top coaches are celebrated. There's an annual awards. Now, Brad will confirm what happens here, but there's an annual awards. And as you know, with any environment where there's a team, there's a competitive nature, and everybody wants to be top. I know I always want to be top. I always want to be the best of the best and be the best. Who is your number one action coach in the world right now, and why?
Well, the simple answer to that, Bradley, is myself. Love it. But the most recently awarded number one coach in the world is a gentleman named Bruce Campbell in Queensland, Australia. Bruce, similar to myself, he's got 4 kids, an amazing wife. But I think the reason Bruce is number one at the moment is leveraged programs. Business coaching one-on-one is very powerful, but a lot of businesses out there, the smaller businesses, they can't afford one-to-one programs. And they need somewhere to start. And that's what Bruce has done extraordinarily well. So it goes back to the old saying of the more people you serve, the more you deserve. He's reaching a lot more people and helping a lot more business owners by running those programs. Now, they run all over the world, but he's just doing it in a different, he's just doing it in a bigger and better way. He's also last year started a new program for us at ActionCoach called Business School for Entrepreneurs for Kids. So actually taking kids over a 6-month course of how to start their own business, because one of our big missions at ActionCoach is to create more employers, not just more employees. If I look in the UK there where you are, you've got Shweta Jaharia, who her team in London is doing amazing things with business owners. You mentioned Pete Bulker earlier. Pete, last year, he took out the award for, we give an award for coaches who create the most jobs and most economic benefit to their community. Well, Peter created over 560 jobs last year by coaching companies, and the companies he coached added that many jobs, let alone the jobs that are saved by making sure that companies succeed. But, so there's a lot of, and our Hall of Fame is really recognizing coaches who, first and foremost, have hit the 10,000 hours mark. So, when you look at it, that, the old saying, have you got to do 10,000 hours of something, but you've got to have achieved that level of energy and effort into something to become a master of it. And so that's really what we look for, is those who are master coaches to enter our Hall of Fame. And not only have they been great coaches for their clients, but they've also been great for the community they live and work in, and also great for the community of ActionCoach. As you mentioned at the start, we're a team of more than 1,000 officers around the world, and no one of our coaches ever succeeded without another coach helping them. So that's part of the reason why our community is so strong, is because the community is so strong. And I would say Bruce also got number one because he helps a lot of other coaches build their companies. So I think that's a very important part of it too.
Team camaraderie. I was just broadcasting this morning, on team building. And as you've said, I mean, team building plays a major part of any organisation. And I guess your guys, they deal with that and teach that and help with the aspect of team building, because if you're a great team yourself, you can't help to want to coach other teams to become great teams that you're working with. It's a natural flow, right?
Look, team building is a relatively misunderstood term out there, because people have to realise, well, if I go back a couple of steps, for you to build a team, you first have to have competent, productive people. And so you need management first to build competency and productivity into an organisation. And then you need leadership to bring them together, to give them that passionate, focused thing. I actually did a whole 20-minute video on that, Brad, on my Facebook page. So if anyone wants to watch it after this interview, they can.
Yes.
You'll find me as Brad Lee Sugars on Facebook. And but the point behind team building is people do it for the sake of building a team rather than with an end in mind. You can't lead people unless you have somewhere to lead them to. You can't score a goal unless you actually know where the goalposts are. So with a lot of teams, they're creating team for the sake of people being nice to each other rather than with the purpose of actually creating an outcome. And I think that the purpose of the outcome is what team has to understand. You know where you're going, and thus you have a team.
That's beautiful. I love team spirit. I love teamwork. When teams come together, I feel with so much energy. I just love teamwork. The power is amazing, which I love that and I live for it. And thank you for that, Brad. Just going to catch up on a couple of comments now. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. If you're just joining us, we're live on the Diamond Experience Show with the one and only Brad Sugars, president and founder of ActionCoach. ActionCoach is an international company. Brad Sugars is recognized as the world's leading wealth and business coach. Now, he leads the world's #1 business coaching firm, and there's more than 1,000 coaches, in over 71 countries around the world. And every single day, the coaches at ActionCoach help tens of thousands of business owners grow their companies with hundreds of simple yet powerful business development techniques and strategies. Now, in addition to being a successful entrepreneur and a dedicated family man, Bradley is also Brad. You prefer Brad, don't you? But Brad is also a best-selling author.
I wish you my mum.
Yeah, my mother said Bradders. I get Bradders when I'm naughty. When my mum said Bradders, but Brad is also the best-selling author of 16 highly acclaimed business books. Taught over 1 million people worldwide how to create business, real estate, and financial success. And Brad said earlier, he's always looking to assess businesses. And now he's just announced a business called Entrepreneurs for Kids, which is absolutely amazing. Now, let's just catch up. Patrick Basunji, Faye Ventures. Yeah, you got an amazing family, Faye. Thank you so much. Faye works on the business for busy mums. Got the most amazing children. I think this lady's going to really make it. Keep going, Faye. Patrick Basunji, thank you. He's saying that you can't lead people unless you are leading them somewhere, Brad. That's definitely directed at you, Brad. So yes, already answered that one. But yeah, thank you, Patrick. Faye saying teamwork is what makes the dream work, as we know. Absolutely, Faye. Beautiful. And indeed, now, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to move on to the next question because we're very short on time. We've got to get through this. Now I'm going to ask Brad. We've spoken about the top coaches at Action Coach. We spoke about Bruce in Oz and Shweta in London. I want to ask Bradley now, so if you're watching right now and you want to become a business coach, you want to go through some of the most amazing training, we've proven training for a business coach, we've proven strategy and growth opportunity to join Action Coach, and you're thinking about that. It could be somebody like me that's kind of a coach, and you're thinking, well, should I look towards joining a large organization? Should I stay as you are? Whatever the thoughts are that resonate with you, it costs nothing to take a peek. And I'd urge you to look at Action Coach because it is an amazing family. It is an amazing business. And if you want to accelerate your own personal growth within a company that's trending, trading, and achieving success around the world, this question is for you. So, what person, Brad, is the type of person that makes a great coach at Action Coach?
Well, I mean, first and foremost, over the years, we've looked at all of the different profiling tools and said, okay, what makes a great coach? And the reality is all of the profiling tools said one thing to me, and that is no actual profile that makes a great coach. What there is one thing. If people love helping other people, then they can become a great action coach. If they don't love helping others, they're not going to succeed. Some people get into the coaching business because they think it's easy money or that there's plenty of money to be made. And if you come into this industry just for the money, you end up losing because you won't succeed. It's people can who are there. One of my top coaches over the years, a guy by the name of Rob Garibay, his clients always said one thing to me that helped me understand why Rob was successful. And they said, Brad, Rob is always a big cheerleader for us. He believes in us, and they knew the feeling. They knew that Rob believed in them more than they believed in themselves. And I think that's one of the keys to being great in coaching is that you have to love watching other people succeed and you have to love helping them succeed. And all the other stuff can be taught. I got great coaches who were nurses before, who school teachers, and of course the whole business spectrum. We've got people that were, upper management, middle management, sales, bankers, accountants, ex-military, you name it, we've got it. Male, female, younger, older. We love the grey-haired, no-haired coaches, but we also like the 30-somethings who come in and, they just take the bull by the horns and go and grow it. But the thing is, what makes a great coach is that they love helping others succeed. And if that's at your core, because when people read our mission statement and our vision as a company is world abundance through business re-education. It's not, make Brad Sugars an extra couple of dollars this year. It's really about what we want to achieve as an organization. And our culture document is very clear on who we are as people. And I even put videos on Facebook that and on YouTube that tell the world about the history of our company and the vision of our company and why our culture is so important. Because I think, every day somewhere in the world, someone joins Action Coach as either a team member or a partner or a coach or a senior partner. And when they join us, it's like I want them to know from me from day one that who we are and why we do what we do is just as or more important than what we do.
That's beautiful. Everything you're saying is just now, it's just flowing through my brain. So thank you. Thank you for that. Al Grant is saying, good coach gets pleasure from helping others. Al Grant's a lady who's bringing Les Brown actually to London next year, January 2018. Les Brown, amazing motivational speaker. So I know
Al, please say hi to my buddy Les. I might have to send him an email. You reminded me of having spoken to him in a couple of months.
Yeah, please do. Yeah, he's just opposite Parliament Square, the Great Hall, 20th of January 2018. It was at the O2, but it was moved back because they need to get some more people in the audience. It's gone from 1,600 to 2,000 now, so looking forward to that one. It's going to be great. Okay, so now we're asking Brad Sugar's questions. We've got a very limited amount of time, so ladies and gentlemen, we're going to ask probably one or two of you at the end of this broadcast, if we've got time, a question for Brad Sugar. So put your questions within the box, please, the comments box. Put your question within the comments box that you want to ask Brad at the end. If we've got time, we'll pick you to see if we can get that question up. Also, do like, comment, and share this broadcast. Let's bring as many people in. I'm not going to get another chance to be sitting face to face from across the pond in the UK to Las Vegas at Brad's. You're the home or at the office today, Brad?
Home office. I rarely go into the office. I guess the thing, Bradley, is that, I own 11 different companies at the moment. And so to go into any one office would be unfair to the other companies. So I work from home when I do the work.
Yeah, what a beautiful home it is as well, Mr. Sugars. Okay, let's move on to the next question. When you work hard in a life, and I'm sure like any of us, you've been through your verses and challenges, but you cannot not salute hard work, energy, commitment, and drive. So from little old me in the UK, bloody marvellous, mate, bloody marvellous. Now listen, this next thing, potential life changer for you. Everyone during our lives and our journeys, many of us watching, if you are watching and you've experienced some kind of, some sort of experience that's really rocked your life and it's made you wake up. Sometimes these things happen at the time and you're in an awful position. And I've had my own adversity, so I can understand that in a moment, your life, what you thought it was, something can happen. And then all of a sudden, sometimes there's a massive realization. My uncle died of bone cancer last November. And, fighting for 5 years. And the last 3 or 4 weeks was tough, going up to London every day, holding his hand every night, watching him take his last breaths. Watching my uncle, go from this man that I remember as my uncle down to this bag of bones. Bless him. I got his ring in my pocket tonight. But, taking his last breaths, and I come away after he passed, and I was thankful that he went because he was hanging on longer. But, it changed everything about my life. Now, look, you've had this scare recently, and if you're watching, ladies and gentlemen, you may or may not be aware, but obviously Brad's in Las Vegas. You're aware of the shootings in Las Vegas. But Brad's was right in there, in the thick of it on that evening, and actually, it's one of the reasons it prompted me to reach out. I saw an article, on the internet that Brad's had been, very close to the shooting, and I wanted to send a message. How are you? Everything all right? And of course, he would have been inundated with messages from thousands of people. Someone that this global standard, you can understand. But Brad's, look, you was in there, with your dear wife, I understand, and the kids didn't know what was going on. Do you want to share that experience, the Las Vegas thing, without being too morbid? But I mean, just sharing how you might have felt and how you feel now, and how has that impacted your life?
Yeah, look, I don't know. I guess the number one thing is, it can happen to you. It can. To sit there and we're at a country music concert, for goodness sake, which is the most fun people on the planet, having a beer, having a dance and singing along. And to then witness, I don't need to explain what we witnessed, but to witness things, I think it could only be understood by anyone that's been in a war zone, the sort of things that you see, or at least had to see. My wife and I literally made a decision not long after it and just said, we're just going to be okay. We're just going to be okay. We just decide that that's who we're going to be. We're not going to be these people that fall apart because of an experience. I lost my wife halfway through the event. We're running from gunfire. You cover we didn't really have much cover, but we took as much cover as we could through 8 rounds of him shooting, maybe 9 or 10. But he had 12 massive rounds of shooting, and we were lucky that we got to take cover. All of our friends, we know. I mean, we got split up from most of them, but they were all there with us, and we all got okay. We were the lucky ones, but I mean, that's all I can say is that we were the lucky ones. But then we got split up with my wife there for somewhere, like we got out the back of the event venue into where there was a parking lot, and we sort of escaped at a period when he stopped shooting, and I got my wife out of there first and all our friends, and by the time I took off after getting everyone out with my buddy Marshall, he'd started shooting again, and Lauren was already ahead and just running. And unlucky, the guy next to her got tagged and went down as she was running. We dove for cover again, and to not be able to find my wife then for the next few minutes while there's gunfire and everything, and I just took off and ran because I had to find her. But we found, funnily enough, we found each other using Find My iPhone. Technology comes to the bloody rescue on something silly like that. But, in the end, buddy, we were lucky. I would say that, it's not something that you ever want to go through, but you get to define your experience. You get to define it. I was carjacked and shot at in Mexico 7 years ago, and so I'd been through all of the counselling for that stuff, because that one was a little more in your face. That was the gun actually at my head. See, I don't know what I'm doing. People are like, I don't think I want to hang out with you that much.
Well, you're okay if you wear some Kevlar,
My wife Lauren spent a few minutes, so actually about 10, 11 minutes hiding under a car, because we didn't know how many shooters there were, buddy. This is the thing. Now you look back and you go, there's only one shooter. But at the time, the ricochet sound off of all the places, you couldn't tell how many shooters there were, and there was absolute panic and confusion, and everyone thought it was a shooter that was on the ground. I mean, no one assumed it was a sniper. No one even contemplated thinking it was a sniper. But this is my wife's sense of humour. I said to her, like, probably a day or two afterwards, I said, honey, I just can't believe that I couldn't find you. I was screaming your name. I just can't believe I couldn't find you. And she said, honey, I was hiding from a gunman. It would have been a pretty useless job hiding if you just happened to find me, So she now claims that she's the world champion hide and seek player. So
that's beautiful. I want to thank you for sharing that, because on my travels and interviewing a reasonable number of high-profile entrepreneurs, can't get my words now because you choke me. I'm just thinking about my wife. Not been able to get to my wife, what you went through. But to share that was very, very powerful, and I just want to say thank you, and I'm sure the audience is going to appreciate that as well. So I want to say thanks, Brad, and God bless you, and I'm glad you're safe, of course. Thank you, and audience, I'm sure you can appreciate that was a really, really amazing share. So you're a businessman, successful guy, but also to share that pure beautifulness. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching us, we're live with Brad Sugars, the president and founder of ActionCoach, the world's #1 coaching firm. We've been talking amazing, some questions, life and business. We're going to move on to the next question, but don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, please do like, share, and comment in the comment box. Now, we're going to be picking 1 or 2 people, subject to time. We've got about 25 minutes left before the broadcast ends. Now, if you've got a question, pose a pertinent question, because we'll be going through the comments and we'll put your question up on screen that you'd like to ask Brad Sugars, and if he's got time, he'll have a look at answering that question directly to you. So keep your questions coming. We're about another 15 minutes on the broadcast before we close the broadcast off, and then we're going to do just a quick Q&A if we've got time. So please do like, share, and comment. Bring your friends into the broadcast, and remember, this is the only opportunity I've been able to speak to Brad's live online. And thank you, Brad, once again for joining us. The next question we got to ask Bradley, really is about your future growth plans. You're growing, you're moving forward. There's loads of things happening. What's happening? What's in the future? What's planned now for Action Coach and for Brad Sugars? Because there's a lot of stuff you do yourself as Brad Sugars, right?
Oh, yeah. Look, Action Coach's future is pretty strong. It's growing as an organization. Our coaches, I have coaches on my team who have been with me more than 20 years. So, we have a very, very strong team that is doing an amazing job of building that company. Most of what I do today is I buy other companies. So I just bought a company down in Melbourne, Australia. I bought a share of a company in Melbourne, Australia that's a great commercial cleaning franchise that their systems and the way they're doing it just isn't here in the US, so I'm going to bring that here. I'm always just looking for great companies that need to be taken global. If there's one thing that I've done very well, either in the franchise space or the licensing space, I bought a major share of a company a couple of years back that's all about employee engagement called Engage and Grow. And, we started working with that company when there was 5 team members on there in one city. And now, there's literally hundreds of them in 15, 16 countries. So, that's what we try and do is take a business that's a good business and explode it internationally. I know we just launched that one in Vietnam and added, 30 or 40 new team members in Vietnam. And so, these are the things that I do on a daily basis. The core principle, I guess, is that once you learn business, and this is, I guess, what coaching is. Coaching is kind of like using your current business as your case study while you do your entrepreneurial degree. So you learn entrepreneurialism, you learn to become business doesn't get easier, you get better at business. And as you get better at business, then business does get easier. Those are some of the things that you have to understand. And it's about, most business owners think that they're trying to grow the business. Well, the only way to grow the business is to grow the people within the business, starting with you. You don't build a business, the people in it do. And so my job today, mate, is really about building people. I hire good and make great. That's sort of the real key to it. If I hire good, make great, then they build a great company for me. So, it is the key role of any CEO is recruiting and training the people, build the people, recruit and build. And that's always been my job is, as the chairman of the organization, is to continuously recruit great people and build them into amazing people. I remember when I was 21, my dad said to me, because I went to him and I said, you know what, Dad, I just can't get good people. And my dad was very blunt with me. He said, Brad, you get the people you deserve. At the time he said, you're an average manager running an average company. You can't expect to get anything better than an average employee. So, as much as my dad was a very blunt man, he was very correct in the fact that until I became a great leader and a great manager running a great company, I couldn't expect to have great people want to work with me.
Beautiful answer. Thank you very much indeed, Brad, for sharing that. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to move into the next couple of questions and see if we've got some time for some leftovers. We're live on the air on Facebook on Bradley S. Chapman on the Dynamic Experience Show with the one and only Brad Sugars, the CEO, the president, the founder of Action Coach International Trading Company. It's the world's #1 coaching firm. We've had this great pleasure for Brad to spend this time with us tonight. We're going to move straight into the next question, ladies and gentlemen, so I can maximize your time at the end because there's a few questions there. If you want to ask Brad Sugars a question, pop the question up. Now, keep the question fairly short and succinct, otherwise I can't put it up on the screen. And then once we've got some time, we'll put your, 1 or 2 or 3 questions at the end, which Brad's will answer for you. And of course, again, leverage yourself, leverage your opportunity, and learn from the master. As he just said, and indeed on the website, the world's #1 wealth and business coach. I'm not going to get another opportunity, so please do put your questions up. So we're going to flick through momentarily. Now, I'm going to move on to the next question, which is I'm going to ask you about the training course. Now, I've got a question I was going to ask about directors and challenging situations. Let me ask this one first of all. When I look at Action Coach, I always think about this sort of 90-day planning course, right? And there's loads of courses that've been, the foundation of the coaches that are franchised under Action Coach that they deliver. But what is the training course or program that's been the foundation, the store of Action Coach's heart, Brads?
Oh, look, I would say that has to have changed over time, because what you have to understand is that the market has shifted over time. When we first started coaching in business, you got to remember that Yellow Pages was still around back then. And to recruit a new employee back then, all you had to do was run a help wanted ad. You didn't have to do anything. Oh, yeah, you're still on that phone, jeez.
No wonder I'm not moving forward, right?
Yes, that might be the case. So stop running ads in your local Yellow Pages as well. So we've had to change, buddy. We've had to move with the market. And I'd say, though, the stalwart is the training we give our coaches. But their training is redone every single week. There's not a week that goes by where we don't have training for our coaches and training for our clients around the world.
Okay, screen is just frozen, so I'm just reading.
Results. I think the biggest challenge for a lot of people is that they forget that, people seem to think that you train once and then you don't need training again. The key to a great result in any of this stuff is training over and over and over again. So to say there's one stalwart program, I would say it is the continuous evolution of the training that has made that a reality. Even down to, we do a simple thing every week where my chief community officer, Angie's job is to literally communicate via video every week to every coach in the world what's happened this week in the organization. Too many companies think that communication is overrated. Now, for some, I don't know where this happened, but someone said, meetings are a bad thing. Absolute rubbish. Meetings that are just for the sake of meetings are a bad thing, but you still need communication, and the only way to communicate is to get together with people. So you've got to make sure that happens.
No, 100%. I lost my broadcast just there, so had to jump back online. So thanks very much for doing that, Brad. That's I love the programs, and I think I'll always remember the 90-day planning, because I think that's what I remembered back in the raw business days, when we first had the pleasure for me to speak to you. I remember the 90-day planning workshops, and now when I look at Action Coach website and what's happened in the transition and the complexity and extent of offering from business coaching to executive coaching is quite fantastic. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching us this evening, I'm Brad Chapman. We've been joined by Brad Sugars. I'm going to move on to the last question now before we go to the audience. So, ask the audience a couple of questions. So, my last question is as follows: the coaching world is exploding, why should a potential business coach choose Action Coach? So there's so many coaching firms out there. Why should they choose Action Coach? What makes you different? And why should coaches, if they're watching right now live or on replay, because there'll be a lot of people that's going to watch this on replay, why should they consider Action Coach and coming to join your company, Brad?
Yeah, look, buddy, look, I'm not here to try and sell anyone on joining our company. I think that you find a place that's the right fit for you. And I think that if you find, when you understand who a company is and why they do what they do, and if that sits well with you, if that resonates with you, and you sort of sit there and go, yep, I can see myself in that organization. And I think that the biggest thing for us, buddy, is that when people meet our team, they want to join our company. When people meet my people, they really want to join that group. And if my group of, if the people that are part of Action Coach today were running a hot dog business, then I would say, good, join the hot dog business, because that team is an amazing group of people for you to join. And too often we get caught up when we're looking at this whole thing of, what should I do? Where should I go? What company? And it's the same for any business owner that's looking for a coach. Coaching is a human relationship. Now, the coach must have a systemized methodology for growing businesses. I see a lot of people today that just, they became a coach magically because they were out of a job, and that's not really, before I wrote the book, The Business Coach, we had actually at ActionCoach coached more than 13,000 companies to success. So I didn't write the system for growing a business until we had already coached 13,000 companies to get there. You know, every week right now around the world, 18,000 business owners get coached by an Action Coach one-to-one. Every single week, over 200,000 are coached in our group coaching programs. You know, there's a reason why Action Coach is number one, and it's a very simple reason. It's because we get results. Now, there's three main reasons we get results. Number one is we recruit the best dang coaches. Only one in every 116 people that wants to become an Action Coach actually does. So, you know, we're very, very strong in our processes of making sure that we get the right people on the team. Second reason coaching works is because when you own your own business, you can't see the forest for the trees. You need an outsider. You need that person who, like the reason that it works that we hire such great coaches is they bring a knowledge base that you just don't have, you know, and that's the thing. I've often been quoted as saying that, you know, why coaching works is that you've got an outsider who looks at your business and goes, well, why aren't you doing that? And it seems so dang obvious, but you just can't see it because you're in the middle of it, and that's always okay. But the third reason that coaching works is accountability. And the third, and you know, it doesn't matter. When you are the owner of the business and the CEO, you have no one to be accountable to other than your suppliers who you have to pay the bills. So your business only ever gets big enough to pay the bills. When you sit back and you say, gee, I've got a coach who is demanding growth and demanding profitability out of the organization, it changes the way. Now, not only do they demand that, they give you a system by which to do it, and they help you see your business from a perspective that you can't quite see it at this point in time. But when we help people define what they want out of their business, because this is the other thing, Bradley, where a business owner will say something along the lines of, I don't want to be working 80 hours a week. To help them define what they actually do want and then give them a plan to go and get it, that's a really important part of coaching.
There's great value. I mean, for anyone watching right now, there's amazing value in what Brad's just shared. And as Brad's speaking to me, you know, to be able to, you know, to have a one-on-one, what you're having right now with Brad Sugar, you know, firstly, it's a thank you from me, and I'm sure it's a massive thank you from the audience. Now, keep those questions coming, so I'm going to ask Bradley now just one more. If I said Bradley says I sound like his mother, I'm going to ask Brad just one more question. Then we're going to pass over to the audience. So we've got literally now about 12 minutes. Let me just see where we're at. In fact, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll through now. Brad, just give me 1 second. I'm going to scroll through some of these questions. Let's see which one you want to choose to answer.
Actually, I know one of them already, buddy. There was one that I saw pop up there, which is, what does wealth mean to me?
Oh, Karen Whitelaw-Smith, I think, posted that. Let me just get that up on the screen here.
Sure I did see it pop up.
Yeah, that was.
I'll tell you what.
There it is, Karen Whitelaw-Smith.
So, rich is about having money. Wealth is about having money and the other aspects of life. So, business owners often, if you look at their list of goals, you will see that their dreams and goals are two different categories. You look at their dreams, and their dreams are all personal. They're all places they want to visit or things they want to do or travel with their family, all that stuff. But there's a disconnect between their dreams and their goals. Their goals are all business oriented. They don't have goals of family time. They don't have goals of travel. They don't have them as written goals. They don't have health goals. They don't have those other areas. See, having money and not having the time to enjoy it, that's not wealth. That's rich. You can be rich in money, but that doesn't mean you're wealthy. And so wealthy is about having the finances, the time, the health, the people to go and do the things you want to do with. Like for me, I have a suite at the hockey here. Las Vegas has a professional hockey team. Well, yes, I've got the money to buy the suite. If I didn't have the time to go, geez, that'd be boring. If I just had to send my staff all the time. If I didn't have enough friends and family to fill the suite with, geez, that'd be boring. If I didn't have my health to be able to get in there and go and enjoy it and have a beer while I'm watching the game, that'd be boring. So wealthy is about having the money, but then all of the other aspects that make the money. See, what people seem to misunderstand about money is that money is just a multiplier. If you're a really nice person, money will make you an amazingly nice person. If you're a complete jerk, money will make you a massive jerk. It's just, money's just a multiplier. Same as success, same as fame. These things, they just multiply where you're at. And business is a great one to learn where your deficiencies are, because when you're in business, you very quickly learn what you're no good at. Like, if your business is struggling with money, guess what? You're no good at sales or marketing. You better get good at that if you want to make more money. If you're working way too many hours because your staff aren't any good, guess what? You're no good at recruiting. You're no good at management. You're no good at leadership. You've got to become good at the areas where you struggle for two reasons. One is so that the company can prosper in that area. But the second is so that you can actually hire people in that area who are going to be good at it. I was talking to the guy the other month, and he's saying about, marketing, it doesn't matter. I don't need to learn marketing. I can just hire someone who's good at marketing. I said, well, hang on a sec. What questions are you going to ask them so you even know whether they're any good at marketing or not? He said, well, I'm going to find out if they got a marketing degree. I said, well, a marketing degree tells me you're good at studying and taking tests. Doesn't in any way, shape or form show me that you can bring in leads or get repeat business or boost the average sale or increase conversion rate by doing better marketing, So, long way to answer a very short question, but hopefully that does an answer for you, Karen.
Wow, that was amazing, right, Karen? Just understanding the difference between money and wealth and character, which again is just also important. And I guess everybody, we've all seen people around the world, finally get hold of money, and then it changes them into something that we don't recognize anymore. The fact that a very, very successful global man has taken the time to allow me and you watching 60 minutes of his time in a very busy schedule, and I'm just a little pip in the ocean. It just goes to show the credibility of the character we're speaking to, who is Chapman.
As your coach in this hour, I'm going to coach you.
Please.
The law of attraction is what we speaketh. What we speak shall come back to us. So if you keep saying things like, I'm just a little pip in the world, it's like whenever anyone says to me, they say, I own my own small business. I mean, why would you refer to it as small?
I guess
you have a global organisation, Mr. Chapman, a global organisation.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, it's nice to know. I look back, across the last 14 and 15 weeks, since I started broadcasting and my global connectivity, Brad, I wish I had this before, in raw business and stuff, because, oh my gosh, but we've got it now. And I've learned gracefully but painfully from some of the challenges and successes. And yes, actually, we're broadcasting globally. We're connected all over the world now, meeting people that at the touch of the fingertip. And there's people all over the world right now online. And I'm absolutely loving it. I'm talking to you. You're in Las Vegas. There's the most amazing feeling of global connectivity. I guess what I meant is, although my global connectivity is growing, I'm not a daily newspaper. I'm not entrepreneur.com, which I know you've been featured on. I'm not Fox. I'm not NBC. I'm just a small guy. And although, yes, I believe where I go and I'm totally in tune, and thank you for reminding me, I just wanted to say thank you for taking time to speak to the smaller person.
No, you're welcome, Tim. You're welcome.
In a world where the wealthy guys, sometimes they forget. And I put a post up on LinkedIn a while ago saying, always remember the journey. Remember your journey with any business and as you start getting well, because sometimes you need to look back to remind yourself. So thank you for reminding me that actually my aspirations they are very big, as you know, and bless you for coming on. Let me just now pass to the audience, because we've now got about 6 minutes left, and let me just scout through to see if there's another question in there Karen's saying, thank you. You are so aligned. Karen's very spiritual. She's got a book called The Butterfly Experience. Wonderful lady. Known her for about 10 years. Karen, thanks for coming on. And I love my life academy.com. Faye Adventures is saying, I really love what you said about training. Great. Very much indeed. Brian Sherman's got a question there. What is the best way to market coaching and training services? We'll hold that one for the moment there, Brian. Faye Ventures saying, wow, you get better at business rather than the business getting better. Build the people. Wow. And Umar saying, thank you very much indeed for making a contribution. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not going to ask Brad to answer another question unless there's something within the column that he likes. But I want to just say on behalf of myself and part of the audience, the people that's taken the time to come on this evening, the people that's watching it live, that's taken the time to come on live. You've been watching a really fantastic interview with the one and only Brad Sugars, the founder, the president, and the owner of ActionCoach, a global company. He's a really amazing guy. If you're considering looking at a coaching business, I can actually testify to the fact that I know people that are in the ActionCoach organization and they're doing very well. And you know what you sow, you reap, and the platform is there. And if you're a business coach and perhaps you're struggling, you're not quite getting to the volume of exposure, the volume of connectivity, then of course, working under an established umbrella as a business coach can change that for you. You may be a business coach right now. You might be on the edge of saying, I'm going to give up. I can't quite get to where I need to go. But you could be an amazing business coach. Well, number one, I think it's never give in, never stop, never give up, because you never know what's around the corner. You never know what can happen. And I can speak personally from that myself, because sometimes in business, when we're business owners, we fall over and it hurts. And for me, the strength is in getting back up, really finding yourself and learning from your past endeavors, your mistakes, and turn them into your strengths. But I'm going to ask Brad just to take us off air and talk just a little bit now about ActionCoach, when he's next going to be speaking. When can everybody hook up you? Brad's next. I mean, I've got all the websites here, which I put up on the screen for actioncoach.com and for Brad Sugars. But you speak about 40 times or so a year. You've got a few more shows to go this year, Brad?
Yeah, look, I mean, for the UK, buddy, I'm going to be in Ireland at the Pendulum Summit. That's in January next year. Massive one, which there's some amazing speakers at that. Myself, Richard Branson, Lady Michelle Moan, Randy Zuckerberg. So yeah, a bunch of us speaking there. I know that we have the Business Excellence.
I know that one, Brad. I've been booked for that one.
Good. We have the Business Excellence one next when is that? In April next year, the Business Excellence Forum up in Liverpool. So I'll be over for that as well. But listen, I think that ultimately, buddy, if I can finish off with a couple of quick things for everyone.
Of course.
Business is a real learning process. And the key to success in business is the continuous learning of what it takes to get to the next phase. The business can only grow to the owner's level of incompetency. That's all it can do. But our goal as business people is to consistently look for what is the next phase. Now, you mentioned the 90-day planning. I sit with business owners all the time and they say, well, this is my goal. And I say, great, well, show me the plan to get there. And for some strange reason, business people seem to think that they can do it all because it's in their head. And look, the reality of it is, if it's all in your head, you got to show up every single day. You've got to be there. You have to show up. No one else can do the work. If you want to build a business, you have to go back to the basic definition of it. Business is a commercial, profitable enterprise that works without you. The moment it works without you, you've built a real business. If you have to show up, you haven't really built a business. You've built a job. And so build yourself a real business. Start with the end in mind, as Mr. Covey taught us. Build a real business. Set that as a goal. Come learn from me. Come learn from my team. Love to help teaching you. Read all my books. They're all on Amazon, I'm sure.
It's beautiful to have had you online this evening, and learning from the master. I'm just looking down at the screen, just posting up a few of the comments of everybody that's been online and listened tonight. So thank you very much indeed. And thank you for sharing your time this evening, Brad. We're now pretty much on time. So, ladies and gentlemen, unless there's anything else Brad would like to say to end the broadcast, we're going to be taking the show off air. Brad, is there anything else you'd like to say before we go off air?
No, buddy, just look, being an owner of a business, sometimes it's one of the loneliest things that you can do. There's very few people to talk to. Get to hang out with other business owners. Go join a business community. I know the biggest thing we do at ActionCoach is bring business owners together so you can learn together, because that way the loneliness disappears and you can realize there are other people going through the same challenges you are.
Absolutely. That's beautiful. And I've seen the planning workshops. In fact, some of my friends and family actually have registered. They work with Peter Balker there in Chelmsford. Because Peter's an amazing guy. And he's just around the corner from me, actually, less than a mile away. But listen, Brad, I tell you what, I'm humbled. I'm thankful. You're a real inspiration to business owners around the world. Long may it continue. I want to say thank you from my heart, from the viewers' heart, and everybody watching. Ladies and gentlemen, we've been gifted and privileged to have an hour with Brad Sugars, the president and founder of ActionCoach, the world's #1 coaching company. I'm Bradley Chapman, and I'm with Brad Sugars, and it's been a pleasure. And ladies and gentlemen, just to follow you off now, if you want to find out more about Brad Sugars, please do visit actioncoach.com. The website is up on the screen right now. And if you want to find out more about Brad and his programs and his travels and where he's going to be around the world, then, of course, visit bradsugars.com. Brad's got one of 16 books out, so please do visit. There's a lot of them on Amazon. Is that right, Brad, the books?
All on Amazon, buddy.
Yeah, so on Amazon, just put in Brad Sugars and 16 or so books will pop up. If you're interested in becoming a business coach, I think just go through the actioncoach.com website. But I want to say thank you, Brad, for coming online and for sharing this wonderful 16 minutes with me. Thank you, Brad, very much indeed.
Most welcome. Most welcome.
And audience, we're going to be going off air now. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much indeed. The final note there from Patrick Basinji. Thank you, Patrick, very much indeed. Ladies and gentlemen, God bless you wherever you are. Thanks for taking the time to tune in this evening, giving up your time. I hope you're taking some great value from tonight. I know I have. It's one of the best takeaways I've ever had. It's a mixture of Indian, Chinese, superb filet mignon steak, and a mixture of mange tout and other stuff. So, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for joining. Be the best you can be. I'm Brad Chapman. This is the Diamond Experience, and I've been with Mr. Brad Sugars. Thank you, everybody. Good evening. Goodbye.